The Pats make a statement down in Tampa, beating the Bucs 28-23. Let's break it all down. We're live, and this is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England, been covering the Pats for 16 years, also the co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports radio veteran. Welcome to Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. On today's live post-game show, the defense did just enough on the road against Baker Mayfield and crew to get the win. Also, Drake Maye, aside from one bad mistake, is impressive against a very tough, top-notch defense in Tampa. But first, the Pats just keep on winning. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. The New England Patriots are now 5-0 on the road. Think about that. The Patriots have more wins on the road this season than they had total wins in 23 and in 2024. A 5-0 start on the road. And they had control of most of this game, I would say. It didn't really feel like this game was in danger at any point. And it felt like the Patriots, they were in control of their own destiny. If they wanted to win this game, they were going to win this game. And Mike Vrabel, he has this team's attention. When you can go out on the road and you start a season at 5-0, given what this team had gone through the past couple of years, when you go on the road and you start your season 5-0 on the road, that talks about a team that has a very, very tough mentality. You've got to be mentally strong to go on the road and consistently win in the NFL. And you've got to have confidence when you haven't been a good football team for the past few years. It speaks to the confidence of this team. It speaks to Mike Vrabel and where this team's mindset is and how he has all of these guys in that locker room believing and feeling like they can win no matter who they play, no matter where they play. This is a national televised game with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the call. Most people are watching this game today. This game probably had the sound at a lot of bars across the country. You go in, you have no Ramondre Stevenson. You have no Kayshon Boutte. You have no Christian Ellis. And then during the game, Terrell Jennings leaves with a knee injury. I mean, you're down to 2 running backs. At one point, it looked like TreVeyon Henderson was going to be hurt and might leave this game as well. But you're down, 3 or 4 very important guys, especially the 2 offensively with no Ramondre Stevenson and no Kayshon Boutte. And you've got to go on the road and play a team who was 6-2 in Tampa coming off their bye week. Extra time to prepare for you. And you go down there and you play the game that you played today and you win 28-23. It just speaks volumes of where this team is mentally. I mean, it truly is unbelievable. If you told me the Patriots were going to start this season 8-2, I would have said you were crazy. I would have said that's nuts. There's no chance on God's green earth that this football team is going to start 8-2. I had them winning 9 games this year. They're 1 win away from what I thought they would finish with. That's just insane. And what was really cool about this win, it was all about like the unlikely heroes. Elijah Ponder had a big play in this game. Greg Woodson gets his hit on Cade Otton on 3rd and 3, forces a 4th and 3. And we know what happened during that 4th and 3. No bueno for Tampa. Mac Hollins. I thought this was going to be a heavy tight end day. I thought TreVeyon Henderson was going to have a bunch of catches. I was wrong. It was not a heavy tight end day. It was a heavy wide receiver day. And Mac Hollins finishes with 6 catches, 106 yards. He is the consummate professional. He continues to do a really, really good job. And it just feels like Mac Hollins has been overlooked for a decent portion of this season. We've talked a lot about Stefon Diggs, and we've obviously talked a lot about Drake Maye and Kayshon Boutte. But Mac Hollins has been so ridiculously solid for this football team. 6 catches, 106 yards today. And the Patriots were able to survive the mistake. and it was a big mistake by Drake Maye. The interception in the end zone, that stuff can't happen. We're not going to sit here and talk about it too much because a win is a win and it feels great. And this team is 8-2, but you just can't have that kind of mistake late in a game on the road. When you throw a pick, when you're in that low red area and you throw an interception, it is just crippling to your football team. But this Patriots team figured out a way. They survived the one big mistake from their quarterback, and they were able to keep calm, stay poised, and win. I mean, you had bad punts. You had multiple flags on special teams. You had the game's only turnover. You gave up an opening drive touchdown again on defense. That is now 7 times out of 10 games. But you found a way to win. And now you're sitting at 8-2. And meanwhile, as you're winning this game in Tampa, as you're taking care of your business, the Buffalo Bills go to Miami and they get dominated by the Dolphins. Who saw that coming? Josh Allen, James Cook, Buffalo Bills go down to Miami, a Dolphins team that most of us, if not all of us, thought was dead in the water, no pun intended. We figured their season was over. They weren't going to do anything. Shocked that Mike McDaniel is still there. He doesn't beat good teams. And Buffalo goes into Miami and they get shellacked. It felt like it was a trap game for Buffalo. So they get beat by the Dolphins in Miami. Meanwhile, in the same state, you beat Tampa Bay. And so now, for all intents and purposes, you have a 2-game lead on Buffalo for this division. This is your division to lose. At this point, the AFC East is the Patriots' division to lose. The Buffalo Bills, they've got some tough challenges ahead on their schedule. And the Patriots now, you look at this, you've got the Jets on Thursday, short week. Then you've got Cincinnati and Cincinnati. And then, of course, you've got the New York Giants Monday Night Football. The Patriots, I think, will be favored in all 3 of those games. I'm not going to get too far ahead, but it is realistic that the Patriots could get to their bye at 11-2. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's on the radar. They could have 11 wins by their bye. That would be just unbelievably ridiculous. But you got the 2-game lead for all intents and purposes in the division. You now have gone on the road and beat 2 really good football teams. You beat Buffalo and Buffalo, Sunday Night Football, and then you beat Tampa and Tampa today. And you sit at 8-2, a 7-game win streak. My goodness. My goodness. Is it fun watching this football team? All right, for most of the day, Drake Maye cooked. That's coming up next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends over there at Peloton. Look, folks, it's time to break through the busiest time of the year with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus that's powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated technology and equipment yet that gives you real-time guidance, and it gives you endless ways to move, whether you want to work out by yourself or if you want to work out with your favorite instructor, like my personal favorite, Alex Toussaint. He always gets me fired up to tackle the day. And the thing I like about Peloton, it helps me achieve more in less times. They have features that help you plan, stay motivated, track your progress, and Peloton IQ also provides personalized workout plans and recommendations. That's something that I use right now during the busiest time of the year covering the NFL. They plan my workouts for me based on my mood, my vibe, and also my favorite instructors. So make sure you check it out and use it because it also helps you correct your form in real time, and it maximizes your reps. It counts your reps so that you can do it smarter, safer, and more efficient. Let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's SAD, software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. With Rippling, everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. And right now you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Your New England Patriots are 8-2, 5-0 on the road. Perfect record. Went down to Miami. No big deal. Get a win. Go to Buffalo. Sunday Night Football. Josh Allen. No big deal. Get a win. Go down to Tampa against Baker Mayfield in a really good defense. No big deal. Get a win. Pretty impressive stuff from Mike Vrabel and this football team. And thank you for making Locked On Patriots your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. And don't forget to give us that thumbs up as you watch us live, or even if you watch us on demand, hit that thumbs up. Help us out at YouTube. Hit that like button. Don't forget to throw a comment in. How you feeling about this 8-2 Patriots team? I have to imagine all of you are feeling pretty darn good about where this team is. And don't forget to subscribe as we continue to push towards 7,500 subscribers. I believe in the Patriots fan base. I believe we can make Locked On Patriots one of the most successful Locked On shows that exist. And it's all because of you and your help and your passion. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. 28 points. 28 points against this Buccaneers defense. And frankly, you should have had at least 31 points if it wasn't for the bad interception from Drake Maye in the fourth quarter. You should have scored more than 30 points against this defense. And I talked about it on Friday's preview show, and I was wrong. I had the Buccaneers winning this game 23-20. I was wrong. I am happy that I was wrong. I am happy that the Patriots won this game. But we talked about the challenge of this Buccaneers defense and what they like to do, how they try to fool the quarterback. You put up 28 points, and again, should have been 31 at least, but you put up 28 points, and you also had 435 total yards against that defense. 435 yards on the road against that defense when Todd Bowles and his coaching staff had extra time to prepare for you coming off the bye. I mean, that is just some tremendous stuff. And before we get into Drake Maye, it was TreVeyon Henderson Day. We've all been waiting. We have been waiting and salivating at this thought of TreVeyon Henderson showing us that explosivity, proving to everybody that he wasn't a wasted pick at number 38. And some people, they lose their minds about rookies, and they want rookies to make significant impacts right off the bat. And that usually doesn't happen. We have to understand it. It takes a little while for rookies to get the feet wet. When TreVeyon Henderson had a huge day, and yes, I am frustrated because I almost started him in my flex in fantasy football, but I didn't. And it killed me, that second touchdown run. But TreVeyon Henderson, 14 carries, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, he wasn't consistently ripping yardage against this defense, right? But this is TreVeyon Henderson. And this is why we talk about his ability to turn a 5-yard gain into a 50-yard touchdown. That was the thought process when you drafted him, the home run ability. And we saw it not once, but twice today. 50-plus yard runs. I mean, the explosivity was there. Nobody's catching him when he gets out there into, open space. And I thought he was this close to scoring a 3rd touchdown earlier in the game. If he made just one more guy miss, he would have had 3 touchdowns in this game today. So TreVeyon Henderson, we've been waiting, we've been hoping this opportunity with Ramondre Stevenson out, and he showed up today, and he had 2 gigantic touchdown runs, and that's what we've been waiting for. That's what we wanted to see. Shout out to Kyle Williams, another rookie with an explosive play, 72-yard touchdown catch. And again, when we talk about TreVeyon Henderson, we talk about Kyle Williams, we talk about a dynamic that this offense has not had for quite a while. The speed element, that explosiveness, that speed, game-breaking ability. And Kyle Williams takes it to the house on the crossing route. I mean, so you've got Kyle Williams with a huge house call. TreVeyon Henderson with 2 house calls. Your rookie class shows up. We'll talk about Craig Woodson later on. Big play from him as well. So Kyle Williams, TreVeyon Henderson doing what we hoped that they would do when they were drafted on draft weekend. Now let's get to the quarterback. I know the statistics are not going to be as sexy as they have been, in other games. Drake Maye completed just over 50% of his passes, 51.6%. He had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns in that tough, bad decision from him. And his passer rating finished under 100 for the first time since the Raiders game. So since week 1, this is only the second game that Drake Maye has had a passer rating that was under 100. It was 89.4. So when you look at some of the stats, they're not going to jump out at you compared to what Drake Maye has done in some other games this year. But I thought he was really good, given the circumstances, given the challenge of this defense on the road. I thought some of his early issues were actually rain related. I thought Tony Romo made a really good point. The ball was sailing on Drake Maye early in this game, that first possession when the rain was coming down. But then he went on a stretch, and there was one stretch in this game where Drake Maye went 9 for 11, and he made some big-time throws. The Kyle Williams touchdown, that is a great throw. That is a great layered throw from your quarterback. The Pop Douglas chunk play against the blitz, fantastic job by Drake Maye, knowing the blitz is coming, knowing exactly where to go, and getting rid of it, being decisive. We talked about it. If Drake was going to be good against this defense, he had to be decisive. And that chunk play to Pop on the blitz, that's being decisive. We talked about diagnosing and being decisive. That's that play right there. And even the Kyle Williams play. It's another throw from Drake Maye where he's got some heat. And so the chunk play to Pop. And then you've got the Stefon Diggs touchdown at the end of the first half. That was an awesome throw. Obviously, a crazy good catch from Stefon Diggs. I have no idea how he high points that and gets both of his feet down. We talk about number 1 receivers. We talk about, legitimate receiving talent. When you see Stefon Diggs do what he did on that touchdown catch, that's elite. That's an elite wide receiver play. And that's the type of stuff that we have not seen as part of this offense in quite some time. That was an elite catch by Stefon Diggs, but it was also a fantastic throw from your quarterback. The Mac Hollins bucket throw, unfortunately, it was kind of ruined with the interception later on in the drive, but that's a 3rd and 14. 3rd and 14. And you've got Drake Maye, staring straight down the barrel of a rush. And he knows he's going to get hit on that play. There's no doubt that Drake Maye knows that he is going to get hit on that throw. And he stands there. He stands tall in the pocket. He understands that he's going to take that shot. And my goodness, 3rd and 14, shotgun formation. You had the split backs, Hunter Henry in the backfield, along with a running back. I believe it was TreVeyon Henderson. And you are getting that pass rush, and it's coming straight down the middle at you, and you're going to take a vicious hit on 3rd and 14, and you could not throw a better football than Drake Maye threw to Mac Hollins on that play. So there were 4 or 5 throws during this game that I thought were really high-quality throws from Drake Maye. And to put up 28 points, to put up 435 total yards against this defense, that's a really good job by your quarterback. The end of the half, very interesting, right? Did Mike Vrabel purposely run the clock down on that 1st and goal? Now, Mike Vrabel was asked about it in the postgame, and he deflected. He didn't want to answer it directly, which would tell me that was absolutely what they did. Drake Maye, on the other hand, with the media in the postgame, said that he was trying to score. I don't believe him. I think Drake Maye's telling us a little bit of a white lie there. I don't think he was trying to score. He wasn't even really moving his legs. So very interesting decision, end of half, 1st and goal, to, if that's what they did, to give up that play. I mean, they just gave a down away, but that's, I believe, why they went for it on 4th down and goal, because Mike Vrabel, I would imagine, said to himself, well, we gave one play away. We're going to go, this is 4 down territory. We're going to go If it's 4th and goal, we're going to go for it. I want to give this offense 3 chances to score. So very interesting, detailed call by Mike Vrabel there. It's one of those things when you hire him, we talk about he does some funky stuff. He's always kind of thinking ahead. That was a fascinating decision. The throw and catch touchdown, we talked about it. The 4th down decisions from Mike Vrabel again. He continues to consistently be aggressive and going for it on 4th down. I love it. And I think that's putting confidence in his quarterback. That's putting confidence into his football team. He has consistently done that. We finally have a head coach to watch in New England that is willing to go for it on 4th down more often than not. And he has been nails with these decisions on 4th down. I thought Drake Maye was really good against the blitz for most of the day. And it was even more impressive to me because you couldn't run the ball. I mean, you had the 2 house calls from TreVeyon Henderson, but other than that, you could not get a consistent run game going. In the early down runs, they didn't work for most of the day. And it's interesting. I hated the toss call on that 2nd down with Kyrie's Tonga as the fullback that TreVeyon Henderson ends up taking it to the house, and he's talking to the sidelines asking, should he score or not, which I thought was one of the most classic things I've ever seen in a football game. But they've got to get some consistent run game going. It was nice to pop the 2 long ones from TreVeyon Henderson, but they've got to get some of that consistent run game because Drake Maye was looking at 3rd and medium or 3rd and long all day long. In real time, I'll do the rewatch, of course, tomorrow morning. I'll take a look at the all 22. In real time, I thought the offensive line was okay against a very difficult scheme. I expected some pressure against this defense, and you did have the 2 false starts. You got to clean that up. But man, oh man, 28 points, 435 yards. That's a good day for your offense on the road against this defense. All right, speaking of defense, defensively, we've seen the movie before, but it somehow works. It's coming up next in about 60 seconds. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to 4th quarter comebacks. You always have a shot to enjoy the game and the action. It is awesome. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. I love same-game parlays and have had my share of wins using that SGP icon on game days. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'll say it again. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Don't forget to help a brother out, help a podcast out, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk about the defense. I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to say it. Just put 6 points up on the board. Just put 6 points up on the board at the beginning of the game. Save us some time. Save some snaps from your defense. The 7th time out of 10 games, this defense gives up an opening touchdown drive. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny. But as I said, going back a couple of weeks ago, you can spot the opposition 6 points. But as long as a defense gets better throughout the game and you walk away with the dub, then it really doesn't matter what the opening drive resulted in. And at the end of the day, this is a defense that somehow, some way, they find their footing and they do enough to consistently help this team win games. Now, you are 8-2 because of Drake Maye. There's no denying that. But this defense, even though they give it up on the opening drive and you want to pull your hair out and you're going bananas, you also say to yourself, but they're probably going to figure it out. As frustrating as it is to see the opening drive and Emeka Egbuka beats Christian Gonzalez for a 24-yard gain, and then you had another blown coverage, busted coverage between Marcus Jones and Christian Gonzalez. Marcus Jones looked like he was just going to play the flat for whatever reason. And, Emeka Egbuka gets away freely. Nobody within like 10 yards of him. So you go through the frustrating opening drive and you're like, there it is again. There's another touchdown. But then they straighten themselves out. And I thought the defense did a great job against some of the screen game. from Tampa. Tampa tried to get their screen game going. I thought the Patriots defense was really good and disciplined against those screens. I thought Jack Gibbons on a couple of occasions did a really good job of sniffing those screens out. So they did a really, really nice job defensively against the screen game. Again, this defense, one thing that they do, we can sit there and we can criticize them for the opening drives and stuff, but one thing they do, their red zone defense has been really bad as well, right? Teams are scoring better than 75% of their red zone drive. It's just awful. But the one thing that this defense does well, and Tony Romo hit this a bunch of times during the game today, they're good on third down. And Tampa today was 5 for 13 on third down. So, they are doing a very, very good job of not allowing offenses to extend drives. So 5 of 13 on third down for the Buccaneers offense. Another good job by this Patriots defense to play well and be disciplined on third down. And don't allow drives to continue over and over and over again. I also thought Zach Core had quite the moment. I thought he had quite the moment. It's 3rd and 3. And Baker Mayfield's in the shotgun. Craig Woodson makes a nice play, almost intercepted by Robert Spillane. And you walk in now 4th and 3. 4th and 3, fourth quarter. And Tampa has trips right. They got the 3-receiver bunch formation, trips to the right of Baker Mayfield. And the Patriots actually were very aggressive in that play call. 4th and 3, and Zach Core blitzed. He sent multiple blitzers. And that's the play where, Calebon Chason also has like a stunt with Milton Williams. And I thought the play should have been blown dead. Somehow, some way, Baker Mayfield got it to Rashad White, but it was a 3-yard loss. That is a huge play call from Zach Core, a guy who was not a defensive coordinator when this season began, somebody who's only been coaching in the NFL for 4 or 5 years. That is a huge play call on 4th and 3 to end up blitzing Baker Mayfield on that play, and you get big-time pressure on Mayfield. Uncomfortable. Again, I thought it should have been called a sack. It wasn't. Whatever. 3-yard loss, turnover on downs. And then 2 plays later, you got TreVeyon Henderson's second house call. 50-plus yards to the house. 2nd and 9, I formation, Kyrie's Tonga as your fullback. You had the, 1st and 10, I form, Kyrie's Tonga as your fullback. TreVeyon Henderson goes for 1 yard. That was the first play after that big 4th down defensive call. And then the second play was the 2nd and 9 where TreVeyon Henderson takes it, and you're up 28-16, and the game, for all intents and purposes, is over at that point. So a big-time blitz call from Zach Core, your defensive coordinator. This team, it is coaching the pants off of other teams. And I was very, very excited about this coaching staff before the season kicked off. I was very, very excited about this coaching staff when Mike Vrabel came in, and that was with Terrell Williams as your defensive coordinator. But when you look at this job and what this team is doing and how they are coached, you go into almost every single weekend feeling like you've got a legitimate shot to win the game, because not only do you have Drake Maye playing at a very high level for most of this year, and he has taken that second-year leap that we were all hoping that he would, but also you go in and week out feeling like Mike Vrabel is going to get the best of the other guy across the field. And, Josh McDaniels, we're not going to love everything he does. There are going to be times during the game that it's frustrating. The Patriots had a chance to put this one away, it felt like, early in the second half. And for whatever reason, Josh McDaniels went run on 1st and 2nd down, and it just didn't work. But again, he kept with the run game. He calls the toss to the left side, and it ends up sealing the game with the TreVeyon Henderson touchdown run. So the coaching has been really good for this team this year. But there's very little that I get upset with regarding the coaching. They know what they're doing. Now, I thought Christian Gonzalez mostly got the better of Emeka Egbuka. The first drive, again, he slipped and fell, and Emeka Egbuka beats Christian Gonzalez for 24 yards. There was the out route that Emeka Egbuka beat Christian Gonzalez on, but I thought that was a very competitive matchup. It was a fun matchup, and I thought Christian Gonzalez did a pretty darn good job against a guy who I thought was one of, if not the best receiver in the draft back in April. I love Emeka Egbuka. I think that dude is really, really good. And Baker Mayfield is difficult to deal with. He keeps plays alive. You did a decent job of containing him. The touchdown, against Carlton Davis, that's a play where, he just extends. He keeps the play alive. And it's really difficult to ask your defensive backs to cover for that long. But that's what Baker Mayfield does. But I thought they did a really good job. You didn't have the big scrambles. Every time I watch Baker Mayfield, it feels like he has 2 or 3 big-time scrambles on third downs and he gets 15 to 20 yards. The Patriots didn't give that stuff up today. So that's a very good job. I also thought that they were really disciplined against the Philly special, that 2-point conversion attempt. Really good job by Carlton Davis not being fooled. So really good discipline there. The one surprise was the Buccaneers actually ran for 113 yards. This was the toughest day the defense had against the run, surprisingly, because Tampa had not been running the football well at all. And I thought that the Patriots would dominate that matchup and the Bucs would not have a ground game. I was wrong. They ran for 113 yards. That was the most shocking part of this game defensively. But the Patriots found a way, man. They found a way again. 7 straight wins. They are 8-2. They are pretty much now up 2 games in the division because Buffalo loses in Miami. It was a big day for the Patriots. It was a statement win. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at NickCRadio, and don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button and subscribe. And for your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great rest of your football Sunday. Patriots victorious again, and we will see you next time.